Okay.
I guess you can start there. It's fine.
Do you want to? No, hold on. Do you want to?
Too much coffee.
And go. Hey, everybody. What's going on? I am waiting for that crappy song I made to turn down so we can talk.
Why'd you make such crappy songs, dude?
I don't know.
You should have made them good.
Because I can.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. But anyway, welcome to This Pink Cloud, technically Season 2, Episode 1, is what I was told. I am DJ Kelly Reverb. That is the Professor Nolen, a.k.a. Sparkles.
That is entirely untrue. You've just now given me that nickname, and I choose not to accept it.
Well,
Sparkles,
yeah, he has a little something called sparklophobia, which is the fear of glitter, just in case you didn't know.
As I've explained before, it's not a fear of glitter. It's a healthy respect for what glitter can do to you, if you're not careful.
That's right.
If you're not careful.
Of course. And of course, sitting in today, the esteemed Dr. Robert Hernandez.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Well, hey, we're glad to have you here, but let's go ahead and recap kind of what you missed, actually, Nolen.
Yeah.
We had my friend Leanne Richardson from Halifax, Canada, on while you were gone.
We're getting international.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she actually was nice enough to send me this lovely shirt and then the placing of the sticker, which I like to do live on the air because it kills time and it's cool.
Yeah.
So the Sober City sticker is now.
Do you need help there? Or you got that?
No, I've got this.
Oh, okay.
I've got this.
You're going to have one of those like old-timey suitcases with all the...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see, right? Oh, that's perfect.
Did you nail it?
Yeah, I think so. Yep, that's it.
All right.
That's where it's staying. There it is. It's official. Sober City. That's really cool. Check them out. They have a website, sobercity.ca.
Okay.
So good girl, and she's doing good things up in Halifax, Canada.
Yeah, good episode. If you guys haven't seen it, go back and check it out.
Right. And then let's see, what have you been up to in the interim from A to B?
Mostly drinking.
Yeah.
Just doing the holiday thing, you know. Let's see. I have had a little bit of wreckage in the family from my escapades over the last few years, especially. And anyways, trying to kind of repair that and
make amends, if you will.
A little bit, and then also just do some Christmas. You know, get some Christmas presents for the kids and stuff. But I spent some time with my ex-wife and my kids. It went okay. Let's call it okay. But, you know, hey, it's the first year. I expect next year to go a little better. And just little by little, you know, there is some... it's just weird for everybody, I think. Is the main
of
thing.
course. Christmas is a strange time, and, you know, there's certain expectations and whatnot. But on a good note, let's go ahead and introduce that you are now in the 6th-month sober club.
That's 6 months. Well, so I got 6 months of sobriety at the end of December.
Right. Okay. So golf clap on that, dude.
Yeah.
That's
thanks,
a big.
guys.
That's a big milestone, buddy.
You know, in a weird way, it is.
Yeah.
In a weird way, it is. You know,
that's half a year, just in case you're doing the math.
I had some sobriety a while ago, which some of the listeners may know about, but I kind of always thought that was my chance.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like you blew your chance?
Yeah. Guys like me don't get a whole bunch of chances. You
right.
know what I mean? I know what I am.
Well, you were, just in case they didn't know, but you had a period of 7 years sober.
Yeah. About 7 years of sobriety. I sobered up when I was about 24. And then...
rocked that for about 7 years?
Yeah. Got into 12-step programs and got really active there and got sober. And then, kind of faded away from that, got really into just work and, you know, just trying to be a decent person or whatever, but neglecting my recovery.
Right.
Is
you just kind of distance yourself from 12-step and doing the work, basically, that it takes to stay sober.
Yeah, I mean, we got to there's tools out there for people like me and you and and the doctor as well, really, to help us stay sober. And I wasn't using any of those tools.
You were just in I got this mode.
Yeah. And it feels like that after a little while.
Right. And then also you were just like, where you relapsed was, I'm what is it? I'm a grown man, and if I want a drink, I'll have a drink.
Well, I made the mistaken it was a mistake for me, that's for sure, and I've seen a lot of people make the same mistake. Folks that have a real bad problem with drugs get in this idea that it's like, well, I can probably drink.
Sure, of course.
The drugs were the problem, and they are a more obvious, upfront, in your face problem,
right?
Than alcohol is sometimes. So, anyways, I believed that lie I told myself. And started drinking, and we were off to the races, and it has taken
off to the races, doing all your favorite DOCs, such as heroin, and
we got there. We got there. You know, for some years it was just drinking, and then I had some dental surgery, and got back into pain pills from that.
A little hydrocodone.
Sure, pain pills turned into heroin, turned into. I went around this little 3-ring circus of heroin, kratom, Suboxone, heroin, kratom, Suboxone, going around in that circle for some years. And really trying to come up with some kind of answer for myself. But anyways, you know, it wasn't that Christmas was bad. It was good. It was just, you know, what was really the best thing about it was I am learning that I can be uncomfortable in sobriety, and it's okay.
Sure.
I don't have to get drunk. I don't have to use drugs just because I'm in an uncomfortable situation.
Sure. Yeah.
And walking through those are really invaluable to me. I'm getting stronger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's good. Yeah. I mean, you're dealing with real life, you know, and dealing with some of the consequences that your addiction might have put in your path.
Yeah. Or that I put in my own path. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I eventually ended up in Summer Sky.
Right. Yes, Summer Sky, our sponsor.
Yeah, roughly 6 months ago. Summer Sky in Stephenville, Texas, treatment center down there in Stephenville, great place, and our sponsor.
What's their address?
Website, www.summersky.us.
Right.
And
they're good
talk to
people.
Heikesha or Patsy there in admissions if you need some help.
What's up?
Or reach out to us, and we can get you connected up there.
Yeah, for sure. And we do have our YouTube channel now, so we will be broadcasting live from there soon. Not today, but soon. And we'll have all the episodes up, so just look us up, This Pink Cloud. And if not, just go to thispinkcloud.com, and that'll take you to our Facebook page. Be sure and give us a like and a follow and blah, blah, blah.
All that stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess let's go ahead.
Yep.
I mean, it's funny that you brought up Suboxone.
Yeah, right into it, huh?
Because we have the esteemed Dr. Robert Hernandez.
Super awesome to be here. Thanks so much, guys. I really mean it.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Short story. I grew up in a relatively brutally abused emotionally and physically environment with probably not the best parents in the whole wide world.
Sure.
Oldest of 5, which is kind of interesting because we all wound up with a decline in our ability to care for ourselves, which means I drank, my 2 younger brothers drank. Have a
When did you start that?
1992.
No, but I mean, like, how old were you?
So I was 31.
Okay, so we're doing the math, and you started at... No, I'm just kidding. And you are how old? Wait, hold on.
Well, I'm 59.
Yeah.
Let's take this a little bit farther back to when I'm 18 years old.
Okay.
I grew up in an environment where people told you couldn't do things, and I always said, yes, I can. I'm going to prove you wrong.
Sure.
Right.
So my addiction started with work. Okay. I'm pretty smart, okay, but I had to work hard.
Right.
So high school, college, med school, residency, after about 15 years, there was nothing else to do.
Right.
Passed my board certification really, really hard, got it done.
Sure.
So I was no longer a workaholic.
You had the whole Doogie Howser thing going on, just just went through it, no problem, huh?
Right. So having that emptiness and that void because I was going to prove everybody wrong.
Right.
and it didn't work, by the way. So I took on the job of drinking.
Yeah. Okay.
This is fun. I thought it was cool to know about wines around the world.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
I always thought that
as long as it's
smart,
classy and expensive, it's okay.
Yeah.
James Bond would order a Chateau Lafite 1956 with his steak. I thought, that's cool. I want to learn about that. So I started collecting wine.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I started drinking wine.
Sure.
So one bottle went to 2 bottles, and when you're drinking $300 of wine a night,
you
gotta find a cheaper way to do it. So I started drinking gin, and that's kind of where it went downhill.
Okay.
Found out that I had a problem in 2005. Started seeing a wonderful doctor here in McKinney named Dr. Suzanne Hales, who works with professionals and has helped me since. So
cool. So okay, so let's go back. Like, so when you got when you started your drinking, what were you? Were you just a general prac or?
No, I'm a board certified internist.
Internist,
okay. So I'm an internal medicine specialist who focuses on addiction. I love behavioral medicine.
Okay, yeah. But you started off as internal or an internist, and then you moved on to addiction after your addiction, or a harm management.
Kind of at the same
correct?
time. Kind of at the same time.
Okay. Yeah. So, and is the proper? I want to make sure I get the proper terminology. It's pain management or harm management.
No. I do not do pain management.
Okay.
I get people off of drugs.
Yeah.
It's a completely different.
But now it's
they are very different.
It's harm management is what we consider it.
I love that. Never heard that before. I love that. I'm taking it with
hey,
me.
well, I just made that up.
I'm taking it with me.
I'm going.
It's pretty accurate.
Yeah,
it's pretty.
So
accurate.
Harm management. Then we'll go with that.
So yeah, I like how you were kind of touching on, just go, right? Through school, just pushing yourself, always trying to prove something to. Did you even know who you were trying to prove something to?
My mother.
Your mother?
My mom.
Yeah, sometimes I know with me, I've never even really been able to pinpoint what I was trying to, who I was trying to prove something to. Maybe myself, maybe, I don't know, but yeah.
It's a harshness to grow up in an environment where you're told you're stupid. Okay, we all got that. I didn't want to be stupid, so I worked real hard to not be stupid. Well, how do you know if you're stupid or not? Well, why don't you be a doctor? Try that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I became a doctor, and then I thought I would take it back to her. I'd say, "Mom, I'm not stupid." See, she goes, "You're the only one." And it was so defeating. It was like, well, when does it stop? How do I get what I need? And
sure.
We were talking about. You've got so many beautiful, healthy words. One of my favorite things that you said a second ago was being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm going to take some of the Dr. Hales stuff and say, how can you learn and grow if you're not uncomfortable?
Sure.
Yeah. You grow through pain. Everybody, it's funny. I spend so much time trying to prevent my children from going through pain.
From being you.
Or from making mistakes.
Right.
You know what
sure,
I mean? It's
sure.
just natural. I want to protect them.
Absolutely.
But if I look back on my life and with an honest perspective, all the mistakes and all the pain is where all the lessons come from.
Absolutely correct.
So, yeah.
People call it failure. I call those building blocks.
Sure. Yeah.
If you just think about something that you may have done in any given day,
right?
Like you didn't put the coffee filter into the coffee thing, and there's nothing but water coming out.
Hey, Nolen just had that happen, right?
Kind of, sort of.
He had a little issue with the coffee machine this morning.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, I also wanted to say, just up front, where can people get a hold of you, and where is your practice located, and just kind of tell us a little bit about that.
Primary Medicine of NorthTexas.com.
Okay.
I'm in Sherman, Texas, at 140 West Lambeth, Suite C.
Okay. All right.
Sherman, we got some
well, that's
people
where
out in
actually Dusty Burrows from Sobar Basics was the one that facilitated.
That's my boy.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah,
love that
Dusty's great,
and he's actually going to do our little birthday celebration for our 6 months. We're going to be 6 months together, Nolen.
I feel a little bit. It's funny. I feel a little bit like I don't know if.
Goofy.
I don't like the attention.
Oh yeah,
or something. It's just how I am.
I love the attention whenever I go into an AA meeting. I always give my days. I always do the days because if you just go, sobriety date July 12, 2020, then everybody goes, oh, okay. But if you go 178 days, then everybody goes, oh my God, dude, that's fantastic.
Kelly definitely likes the camera on him.
Work the audience, you know.
Work the audience. I don't remember that in the steps, but it's in there somewhere.
Right, of course.
Okay, so out in Sherman, Texas, and the name of the practice one more because
Primary medicine of Sherman.
Primary medicine of Sherman. Okay. So an internist, and then you got into helping out helping people get off drugs. So talk a little bit about, what does that even mean? What do you do?
Let me back up just a little bit and say the way my addiction work started was with weight loss. I wanted to find a way to make a little more money. And what I was recognizing more and more in our country is everybody's getting fatter. Nobody knew what to do. So I came up with some novel ways to do that, and I come to realize food is an addiction.
Yeah.
If you weigh 180 pounds and you're 5'10", you're not overweight. But if you weigh 380 pounds and you're 5'10", you're morbidly obese. Why? Because food is driven by emotion, just like any other addiction. Be it work, sex, drugs, alcohol, casino gambling, they're all driven by emotion. Let me leave that today. When I expounded on that emotional drive, I realized, man, I can help lots of people.
Right.
And the federal government, in their wisdom, came up with something called Data 2000. George Bush signed into law Data 2000, which was a drug addiction treatment act. That gave doctors the opportunity to become specially certified and use a medicine called Suboxone.
Right.
Or buprenorphine.
And let's go ahead and I always like to say this, that alcoholism is considered a disease by the CDC.
Absolutely.
So, and I like to have a doctor back that up. And I also like to have a doctor in studio where we're just talking about it and I'm not like, hey, doc, this is messed up with me today. So a social visit, if you will.
Exactly. Absolutely.
So as you were saying.
So folks who get, the big thing in the 90s was pills. All right? Most folks don't understand that hospitals made doctors do the sixth vital sign, which was pain. What's your level of pain? Okay. Well, Mrs. Smith comes out of surgery from her broken hip and she has lots and lots of pain. She can barely breathe. You had to make an assessment of that. You weren't doing anything about it. You got in trouble.
Right.
That's one of the ways all this started. Well, then when Purdue comes out and says OxyContin's not addictive, you should use it. That was another part of the problem. And here you have droves and droves and droves of people who are coming out addicted to pain pills. What do? Put them on Suboxone. It's a tool that helps facilitate pain, eliminate withdrawal, and give the person an opportunity to help themselves emotionally to figure out why they got there.
Right. And so basically, Suboxone, and this is where it kind of gets a little controversial, I won't say, but basically you would subscribe Suboxone to somebody that is, suffering from opiate addiction or heroin addiction.
Yes.
And then what else? I mean, you can probably name more.
Opiates collectively. I mean, it's harder and harder to get opiates by pill now. And I told my drug police years ago, I said, if you make hydrocodone harder to get, they're just going to use heroin. Boom. That's what's happened. So the vast majority of my patients are heroin addicts, but there's still a few pill lingerers, if you will.
Well, and then also fentanyl has taken off.
Well, and I'll tell you, as somebody who has used heroin over the years, and sort of out there in the world of heroin, knowing other heroin addicts, there's not a single one I've ever met that didn't start with pills. Whether that be from pills on the street or pills through their doctor, doesn't matter. They all started with pills. Nobody jumps straight into heroin. Everyone pretty much knows, hey, that's a bad deal. It would be like, never having a drink and just smoking crack or something. You know what I mean? You don't jump straight. Everyone knows that's a bad deal.
It's a funny concept, and you bring it up beautifully. Who wakes up in any given morning and says, I think I'll screw my life up now with heroin.
Yeah, I think I'll try some heroin.
I'm going straight to the good stuff.
But and it's about, it's exactly how you said. It is about the accessibility and the availability of it. As pills, there was a stretch of time where the market, the black market, the drug market, whatever, the world is flooded with supply. There's a ton of pills out there, a ton of pain pills, and then people start to realize, oh, these are addictive. There's some consequences. There's some abuse going on. So they increase, and they're out Schedule 1 now, right? Like all of them are 2. Yeah, they make them harder to get, to get prescribed, less quantities, less refills, all that stuff. So the price goes up out there in the world. And the availability goes down. And because of the way that opiates function, when you are physically addicted to them and you don't have them, there's a world of hurt coming your way.
I saw a lady yesterday, real short. She was going to her her family practice doctor, who started her on hydrocodone, then OxyContin, and fentanyl, and now he won't write them for her anymore.
Oh wow! So he just like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and introduce you.
What are you supposed to do?
What is she supposed to do?
We're gonna introduce you to this world of and then we're just gonna take the rug out from underneath.
Right. So people generally will get 120 a month. They said that's a lot of pills. No, that's 4 a day.
Right.
So take 4 a day. It doesn't work. 6 a day, 8 a day, 20, 30, 40 a day.
Sure.
80 milligrams of OxyContin a day. What do they do then?
Yeah.
They've got to find a way to get free, and the only way I know to get them free is to put them on buprenorphine, naloxone, Suboxone, to start their freedom.
Right.
It's definitely, when you were talking and you said tool, I'm so glad that you said that. So I have some experience with being a Suboxone patient, where I think it is, first and foremost, it is such a massive improvement off of methadone, which is what, methadone used to be the answer for stuff like that. And methadone is just in my opinion and in my experience is a nightmare.
It's a disaster.
Well, now methadone for those laymen, methadone basically is a replacement of heroin, but then you're just on methadone your entire life, right?
Yes or no.
Or you're supposed to wean. Or
well, to come off of it is a feat. I mean, you're going to have to go inpatient, and you're going to have to go inpatient for a while,
right?
Really, to successfully do it.
A year.
Yeah, it takes a long time because of the way these things function, and the doc can get into this more. Just correct me if I'm wrong, but essentially the idea is things like hydrocodone, heroin, fentanyl especially is really bad for this. They have a short half-life, which is when you take them, they have an effect on you for a short period of time, whether 2 hours, 8 hours, whatever it is.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah, different ones have different, but they're all short like that.
Who is this guy?
The professor. The professor, I told you.
Sparkles is awesome.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Well, Sparkles knows a lot about opiates. But drugs like methadone, Suboxone have a longer half-life. So
exactly correct.
Instead of having to go back to the well to get water every 2 hours, 6 hours, whatever it is, to keep withdrawals at bay, to keep feeding your addiction.
Sure.
You only have to go maybe once a day, like with methadone, once a day. Suboxone generally once a day, sometimes twice. Yeah. But the point is, they have these longer half-lives, so they, there's less of that addiction behavior of constantly going back, using.
Physically.
Right.
Yeah.
Not emotionally.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem we have to fix. The physical I can take care of in 10 minutes.
Right.
You come in withdrawing from your opiate, regardless what it is, I can give you a Suboxone, and literally 10 minutes later, you're not withdrawing.
Right.
It's remarkable. I've seen it.
And that was what I was getting at when you said tool, and I was so glad that you said that. The idea of Suboxone being a cure-all for opiate addiction is, in my experience, is a trap. And it's something that you want to try and avoid if you're an opiate addict out there.
Well, I mean, that's the big controversy is that Suboxone, basically, you're just trading one addiction for another.
Yeah.
And that's what people think. But that's why we have Dr. Hernandez here in order to set us straight or set the record straight.
And that's why I'm glad he said it, that it doesn't touch the emotional. It's going to help with the physical. It's absolutely going to help you get your life together and just stop the pain and the wreckage that comes from having to chase drugs all the time. But those internal issues, the reason you were go all the time, the reason that I was kind of the same way in my own, those things have got to be dealt with. So, I guess kind of jump into, walk us through what it would be like for a new patient.
Somebody comes in, they may be withdrawing or not withdrawing.
Okay, and it could be from fentanyl to any opiate. Any opiate.
Okay. Here's a really tough part. I'll just make this as a caveat. People will come to the parking lot. They'll sit in their car, put it in park, sit there for a minute, and leave.
Yeah, sure.
Because the first thing they have to do before they start this entire program is get the courage to change.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay? I'm not going to segue into Serenity Prayer. That's what I use a great deal of. Serenity is the world. You ain't going to change it.
Sure.
Courage is you. You're going to change that.
Right.
If I can get people in, this is the first thing I want them to understand. You're safe.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
No criticism.
Yep.
Yeah, of course.
Like, why can't you just stop?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
God, I've heard that a million times.
And then people also believe that, oh man, it's my fault because I started taking it, and they have a lot of self-guilt as well.
So if you're in an environment like that, it's just not going to work. You get blame, shame, guilt, and doubt. We can't help you. You have to have the courage to say, this is up to me, and I'm the only one that can do it. So, number one, you're safe. Number two is the courage that got you there.
Right.
And number three, we have to teach you about how the emotion drives this whole process.
Yeah.
Right.
People believe all kinds of weird. I've had people tell me they don't want to get on Suboxone because then it becomes part of their medical history, and it will follow them around.
As he makes a large grimace.
It's
Why don't you set the fact straight?
Suboxone is an acceptable means for getting folks off of opiates. Kudos to President Bush for having signed that law in. It's antiquated. They let us take care of 30 patients per clinic at the time. What? Then they let us take care of 30 per doctor, then 100 per doctor. Now we're up to 275 per doctor when you have experience, okay? But they just have to know that when you come in, you're not just going to get Suboxone, you're going to get intensive emotional therapy from somebody like Dusty Burrows.
Right. Hi, Dusty.
Yeah, and and this is the numbers out there when they say it's an epidemic, they're not messing around.
Right.
The numbers out there
why
are
don't we have the doc throw some numbers out there if you know something off the top of your head?
The biggest problem is the availability.
Sure.
I've got lots of friends who are cops who work the border, work drugs in our areas, and they're doing the very best they can to put a dent in it. The problem is it's so available and so cheap.
Yeah.
So we have to facilitate those folks to know that they don't have to do that. But again, getting back to what you said earlier about failure, uncomfortable.
Yeah,
You've got to get uncomfortable. That's a giant thing you have to understand. I don't want to be sober. Yeah, because it's hard.
Yeah, it's
I'd
work.
rather be high.
Hey, by the way, it's work.
Me too. I'd rather be high too. But you know what? This is kind of cool.
Yeah,
we're actually helping people, and I feel good about it.
Yeah, that's good.
High.
Yeah,
that is great.
There is a trade-off. The discomfort is part of it. It's not all day, every day, but it is at times. But the flip side of that coin is I get to feel good about myself. I don't have to, when my head hits the pillow at night, I go right to sleep. I'm not
it's what they say, guilt-free sleep.
Yeah, I'm not replaying the lies I've told or juggling all the
your job of addiction
wreckage I've created.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't have to chase that all day.
I like how you say that, Kelly, and I kind of want to put something here real quick.
Sure.
Dr. Hales helped me with something that I really had a lot of trouble with.
Okay.
It was the day-to-day grind. Okay. And I asked her one time, "Is it possible to get to heaven on earth?" That's not a weird question. Hear me out.
Sure. Okay.
She said, "Absolutely, it is." And I thought about that, and I thought, well, what if I don't make it to heaven on earth? Well, the journey was still worthwhile.
Right.
And people say, well, you're an addict. You're always going to be an addict. No, I'm always going to be working on myself.
Right.
I say, well, that's kind of weird. Addicts always have to work on themselves. Yeah. Everybody does.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're not working on yourself because you don't have an addiction, you think everything's cool, you're losing. Everybody needs to be working on the same thing, their inner self.
Right.
That's how you get better.
And there's a lot of people out there that just internalize and they just try to do it just all themselves. I mean, and I find, and I repeat this over and over, community is a huge aspect of being successful at obtaining sobriety.
Totally.
Let me chime in again.
Yes.
Remember, the very first thing I said patients have to experience when they come to my office is safety.
Yeah.
They have to feel safe, and that's what you're talking about.
Right.
I'm going to be safer at church than I am at the bar. Where are you more likely to find the drunks?
Yeah.
I'd rather go to the church and not have to be in that environment where I'm not safe.
Right.
Right?
Right. You want to be with the converted, so to speak.
Converting.
Yeah, it's a trap that I can absolutely still fall into today.
Anybody can. Any one of us can.
That's sort of isolating, and it's almost like it's my default setting. I have to make a conscious decision to come out of that isolation and sort of, not talking about my problems with anyone because they're my problems. I don't want to burden you with all that or what,
Well, let's go ahead and touch on this real quick, Nolen. I mean, how are you at 6 months sober? How are you obtaining, and what is helping? What is working for you?
Yeah, so I would say So I'm a big advocate and participant in 12-step recovery.
Okay.
So first and foremost, I would say meetings and the community that comes from that are very important to me. Prayer, I think one of the most tried and true methods to address some of that inner emotional struggle, spiritual struggle, really, is through prayer, is through seeking God, is through trying to
your
answer
higher power.
Yeah, trying to answer some of those questions for
Right.
myself.
Yeah.
And so those are two big things. This show is helpful to me.
I love it. It's like therapy for me,
Yeah,
and it's just
the show is helpful to me. There have been moments where the thought maybe to go back to living that way has crossed my mind. And, the idea of letting down you or the audience or
Sure.
whatever has been a deterrent.
I tried to build in a safety valve for us, Nolen.
Yeah.
We can't be using and do this show.
The best way
Right.
The best way I always describe it is you want to stack the deck in your favor the best
Sure.
way you can.
Yes.
There are tools out there that are available. There's therapy.
Which like you were saying, you're a huge 12-step, and I love the 12-step program as well. But then there's also other avenues out there, such as communities like Sobar Basics.
We've had
Dusty
some of them on the
Burrows.
show. The
Yeah,
Phoenix
and
group.
then the Skate Straight, and then the Phoenix, where they do the Phoenix Dallas, where they do actual sober activities, rock climbing, all that kind of stuff.
And the thing that all of those have in common is just the true altruism.
Ooh, wait, hold on. That's a nice word.
You got a
Nice
golf
word.
clap.
Yeah,
But really, just just want to help. Just want to help. Just want to get to know you. Want you to come join us. We're having fun.
Yeah.
Come
Dude,
come do what we're doing. We're having fun.
Right.
You're welcome to attend.
Which you know what? I never thought life could be fun without alcohol, because I was just so used to it being a main component in the formula of going out and DJing, and that's just
how do you watch a
part of the
football
mix.
game without beer?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
How do you go fishing?
Yeah.
How do you go to a barbecue? How do you
Right.
do a family of those are real
Sure.
When I've been drinking for a decade every day.
Right.
But
I don't
today, for me especially, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's where you want to get.
Oh yeah.
You want
For
to
sure.
find the community that will eventually show you how you don't have to do that.
Right.
I love the way you say it. I want to say it in a different way. The community. When you walk up to somebody and you go, I'm an alcoholic, I have a drinking problem, they go, me too.
Yeah.
We should talk.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That way you can share. The one other thing that comes to mind is whenever somebody says something in a certain way that speaks to you is really important.
Yeah.
I had a lawyer one time tell me, nothing hard is ever easy. What the hell does that mean? And when you think about it, it's true.
Right.
And you can apply that to your day-to-day life, and it doesn't become weird anymore. It's actually a useful tool.
Yeah.
Right.
And you never get those if you just isolate. You know what I mean?
Sure. Oh, of course.
If I'm just in my own little world, in my own little shell, then
Right.
I never get that. I never get to meet any of you guys, so
Right.
Exactly.
If you just self isolate, there's it's going to be a tougher road.
So
let's put it that way.
If we can, let's go into, so just to kind of inform anyone that might be watching that might have a problem with opiates, that might be struggling with that. So like as a new patient, we started there. So they have to be in withdrawal. Kind of, what's the process as a new patient for you?
A lot of folks will come to the office after having taken a hit of heroin
Yeah.
or taken a couple of tabs, and then we instruct them what the heck's going on. I don't really get to see very many people in withdrawal when they come into the office. It's too scary.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
First, they don't even know if I speak English.
Yeah.
Much less come to a doctor who's going to understand. Well, then they get both English-speaking doctor who understands, and they don't
Right.
have any withdrawal going on. Come on in. We'll show you what the timing looks like, what the dosing is like. We may even administer the medicine for you there in the office to observe you, and then we'll start the process.
And
Right.
so why is that? Why do they have to be in withdrawal?
Very, very important, because I'm gonna briefly explain that hydrocodone, methadone, fentanyl aggressively attach to the receptor that does the job. Suboxone partially touches the receptor, activates the receptor, and falls off. Okay? Two completely different concepts. So here's the thing. If the opiate, like fentanyl, is hanging onto the receptor, the medicine can't get to the receptor.
Right.
When the medicine comes off, you start the withdrawal.
Sure.
Then we can let the Suboxone touch that receptor and start doing its job.
It can actually have a pathway to get in there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. I got you.
Long half-life, like Nolen was suggesting earlier, 38 hours, which is a long time. Okay?
Right.
So feels so safe. You just have to have the courage to come on in and let us show you how.
Sure. And then so basically you can have somebody with withdrawals and they can come in and you can treat them right away. Right away on the spot.
Feeling better in minutes.
Yeah,
so they
that's
might,
great.
So at this point they might have called your office, kind of gotten a little bit of 411 about how it works, set up an appointment or whatever. They are in withdrawal, and it's hypothetical new patient. They're in withdrawal. They come into the office. They're ready to start the medication. How would you start them out? Would you, aside from just their supply of Suboxone, do you prescribe, do they have to hit certain amount of therapy or anything? Like, how do you handle it?
We absolutely mandate that they be in therapy. Can't be in my program unless you're in emotional behavioral therapy. Okay. So they come into the office. Generally, we'll write a prescription for the person. A loved one will go get it, bring it back to the office. We'll cut it in half, watching them in their early withdrawal, give them the medicine. If the withdrawal starts to go away, we're fine. In medicines like methadone, if you use naloxone and Suboxone together, you'll precipitate some pretty significant withdrawals. We've got to be real careful about methadone.
Not pleasant.
Sucks.
Yeah, if you're going to start Suboxone, do it with a doctor, please.
Yeah, do it with a doctor, healthcare professional who knows what they're doing, and not precipitate withdrawal. In the early starting of my Suboxone career, I flubbed up a bit or two on one or two patients. It was like, what the hell's going on? The naloxone was precipitating withdrawal.
I've done it to myself.
Exactly.
I've done it to myself.
But to have to go for a prolonged period of time like that is really difficult on methadone. Because it has a 60-hour half-life.
Yeah. It takes a lot. You were saying that. I remember there was a guy when we were in rehab together that he had that issue going on, and you were like, don't start the Suboxone yet.
Yeah,
right?
He was trying to start it after 2 days. I'm like, it's not long enough. It's like, I know you're hurting right now. I get it, but you're going to be hurting more if you start.
Right.
And sure enough, he didn't listen to me. He did, and had to go to the ER. Yeah. I mean, in methadone, just I don't want to knock methadone because I'm hesitant to do that because the place that it's coming from is from a good place. It's trying to help addicts, and anyone trying to help people like me, I appreciate. Any program out there trying to help people like me, I appreciate. But it is flawed in a lot of ways, and one of those is that long half-life and that long strength. It makes it very difficult to come off of. I came off methadone in jail one time, and I got to tell you, I was probably sick for 45 days.
You won't die, but you'll want to.
Yeah. It won't kill you. Opiate withdrawal will not kill you unless you've got some comorbidity stuff going on. Or, some.
What was that?
Other
no, but hold on. I want to hear your fancy term.
Comorbidity.
Oh, why don't you explain to the folks what that is?
So, we're all familiar with it right now because of coronavirus. Coronavirus on its own is not killing very many people, but if you've got COPD and diabetes and catch coronavirus, all that stuff working together makes you a candidate for dying from it. And it's the same thing with withdrawal.
You're stealing my thunder.
I'll stop.
He's awesome. He's absolutely 100% correct.
Hey.
Well, really what it comes from is, I've struggled with addiction for a long time, opiate addiction especially, and I was looking for answers. So, looking for answers, you do some reading and you try and come up with some stuff. But yeah, it won't kill you, but you may want to. And you may wish it would.
Let's just point out real quick for all the alcoholics out there: do it if you are addicted, do it under medical supervision because it will kill you, or there is a potential to kill you.
Alcohol withdrawal is a little bit different on that level.
Right.
Benzodiazepine withdrawal and alcohol withdrawal can kill you.
Yeah.
Okay. We do alcohol, by the way, also.
Oh yeah.
Withdrawal, naloxone, that sort of thing.
So, let's say if I came into you, full-blown alcoholism as I was 178 days ago.
Well, I remember your arrival.
You were supposed to clap.
Oh.
178 days. Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, Kelly, and his need for attention there, guys.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. But so if I came into you 178 days ago and said, hey, look, I think I drink too much, and you'd go, okay, you'd assess the problem. You'd say, how much do you drink, Kelly? And I would say, okay, and you would, say it was, okay, yeah, you're there. You're an alcoholic. Then where would we go from there?
I'm going to make a plug for the Haven in Sherman, Texas, at Wilson and Jones Hospital. I'm the medical director for that facility.
Okay.
And that would be exactly the kind of person that we would put in a 5-day detox.
Yeah. Okay.
IV fluids, banana bags, what we call them, with lots of nutrients, vitamins, thiamine, that sort of thing.
Sure.
And then start Vivitrol to help start the process. Again, with intensive emotional therapy.
Yeah. Right, of course.
Yeah, inpatient for like you said, alcohol and benzo. I say opiates too, even though it won't kill you. We're just talking about stacking the deck in your favor.
Exactly.
The idea that the idea that someone like me on my own at my house is going to make it all the way through an opiate detox, slim to none.
Slim to none.
And it's just difficult, and you got to recognize what you're up against, and stack the deck in your favor and try and get some help in that way.
Right.
But yeah, and that's where and that's another thing I love Suboxone for, is especially if going into an inpatient facility is not everybody's got their life set up in that kind of way.
Oh yeah, where you can just go, okay, well I'm going to go ahead and
take off for 30 days.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But you need to address the problem right now. It's getting bad. Let's get this taken care of right now. Suboxone comes in and to the rescue, really.
So what do you see as, like, if you say like somebody with a detox, like I'm going back to alcohol because that's what I know. But when you say a 5-day detox, what success rate do you see from that 5-day, like where they maybe go back and just successfully socially drink, or give up alcohol altogether?
Okay, if you look at the timeline like AA does, they say 5 years. Okay. 0.
Right.
Now you said detox. That's 5 days.
Right.
Day 6, 100%. And that number drops off as time goes by if you don't do medical therapy like Vivitrol and intensive behavioral therapy.
Sure.
Your success rate's going to go up.
Right.
The success rate overall for 5 years is abysmal.
Yeah.
I wanted to change the world, and I said, I'm going to get 80 to 90% of my opiate addicts cured.
Right.
My success rate, 8 to 12%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
AA, 2 to 5%.
Yeah, the idea of success, it's so hard to measure. Or like, what does that even mean, right?
It means being sober.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I understand, but there's okay. So take someone like me. Okay. So my first encounter with any idea of recovery was when I was about 21 years old. I went to an inpatient facility, inpatient rehab. Okay, so let's say that's my introduction to this measurement or whatever of success. I didn't even get 1 day sober outside of lock and key for another 3 years, right? But that introduction when I was 21 years old was absolutely invaluable. It started me down a path of trying to come up with a solution instead of just plugging on till the bitter end, right?
Sure.
And
you were saying earlier that you were even at a point where you overdosed as well, multiple times, right?
Yeah, well, what would happen, I mean, I don't want to get into too much of that, I don't take too much of the time, but yeah, I mean, I was in bad shape. I was in very, very bad physical shape, and my body was just so toxic.
We've got 15 minutes, go into it.
Well, yeah, my body was just so toxic, I had put it through the ringer.
Right.
So my ability to handle intravenous heroin, without going to sleep against my will for an hour and hopefully waking up was, I overdosed a few times. But what I was saying though is, the meetings I went to when I was loaded, when I'm 22, 23 years old, the inpatient rehabs I went to without, being able to stay sober afterwards are still invaluable because they gave me some
information. How many times did you go to rehab without success? Well, with only in-house success.
Yeah, so I have, I've been to, it's a tough thing to say, okay, because if we're counting like detoxes and outpatients.
Sure. And jail.
Oh, in jail?
And jail.
Oh, I've been arrested 17 times.
There you go.
So, I mean, countless. But I've been to, so there are times where I went to detox. There are times where I went to detox and checked myself after 2 days. There were times where I went to rehab and completed the program and got loaded the day I got out. There's times where I went in and checked myself out after 6 days. I mean, so there's a lot of weird,
right. There's a lot of partial stints.
It's a lot of chaos.
Right.
Really what it was, alcohol and drugs had such a hold on me.
Sure.
And I was just in total bondage to them. And
right.
it was terrible, really, because I didn't want to do any of that stuff, at least not in my core.
Right.
I wanted to get, but what I was getting at though is, even though I wouldn't count, as a success, if you looked at me when I'm 23 and I've been to 6 rehabs and, various therapies or whatever, you wouldn't say he's a success because he's not sober. Still, absolutely invaluable, the help that was given me at that time. I'm not sitting here today without that help.
Right.
There's planting seeds and getting people on that
right.
path is super crucial,
and it's not going to work right away for everybody. And I mean, it's a step. It's a stepping stone.
I'm 39 years old now. I was introduced to recovery when I was 21, so that's 18 years, right?
Right.
I only have 6 months of sobriety, but in that 18 years, we're getting close to like 8 years of total sobriety.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 2 children. My ex-wife has a house that we were able to purchase together. All of those things are part of that success. Yes. So, yeah, it's tough to measure. I mean, it's an ongoing battle. At least for me, it's an ongoing battle.
I think it's an incredible success just to think. I mean, about this guy, and I don't know if you know this about him, but I mean, he was an IV user, homeless, 107 pounds, living behind a CVS in a tent because he wasn't good enough to get into the guy's broke down truck.
Yeah,
right.
It was a broke down old camper trailer behind CVS that a guy lived in that I knew, and he didn't trust me to stay in that.
so you had to make your own accommodations.
So I just set up the tent behind it. Yeah,
and to think that he's where he is right now, I even sitting there alive, dude, is amazing.
Yeah. Well, you making the community for all those out there listening is amazing.
Well, thank you.
You were there, and now you're here.
Yeah,
I think that's what you were looking for when you were 21, but the words weren't there yet.
Yeah.
Nobody said nothing hard is ever easy, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
If you have words, dude, I'm listening to your words. I'm going, I'm learning. This is
the
awesome.
professor will do that to you. He will have that effect.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
He's hypnotizing.
Hey, y'all.
That's right. It's okay, girl. Sobriety's all right.
I mean, really what it is this stuff's super interesting to me and super important to me.
Sure.
I mean, it's been the focal point of my life for a long time. We either battling addiction or trying to be sober and trying to help others get sober. I mean, that's just what I do. That's some people are carpenters and make stuff out of wood, and some people, whatever. That's what I do. That's all I really know how to do well. That and teach you about the things glitter can do.
That's right. Careful. Yes, of course.
With what little time we have left, can I ask him this question?
Go
can
ahead.
I ask you the same question?
Please.
What's driving your courage now?
Oh man, I would say some of it's fear. Some of it is fear of going back into that life. This last time during that relapse, the living behind CVS and being homeless and all that stuff, that was, really when I was younger, when I was in my early 20s. This last time I would be more of what you would call a functioning alcoholic. I was going to work Monday through Friday at a nice job.
Just the happy hours would start progressively earlier.
What someone from the outside would say is a functioning alcoholic. So it wasn't so much about the exterior stuff as much as it was about having to sort of live a lie. Really just ate me up, and then also just dragging my kids into that and all of that really ate me up. So I don't want to feel like that again. So some of it's fear. The other thing is, I enjoy this. I enjoy being sober.
Right.
99% of the time I enjoy it. I like,
That's a lot.
Yeah, right.
Really,
That's
you know,
not that high for
That's
me.
a relatively good
maybe
ratio.
that number's off, but it's in the 90%. I know
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's most of the time I get a kick out of this.
Well, I
man.
mean, just knowing what it's like to be addicted and in the throes of it, and versus sobriety. I mean, it's a no-brainer to me. Once you have the sobriety and the clarity, that I mean, it's don't get me wrong, it's not easy, but and it's work. Mm-hmm. But it's definitely a better way of life.
And the work's fun. Out. The work's fun for me. Like I enjoy going to 12-step meetings. I enjoy having conversations like this.
Sure.
I enjoy reading and praying. I get a kick out of all that stuff. It's fun for me. So it's fear of I know what I am and I know what happens to me when I put alcohol and drugs in my system. There's no question of what happens to me. I've tested that a lot. It's not information. Sure. It's not information someone told me. It's information I've lived.
Right.
And then also just enjoying this ride. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't want to be, I don't want to fight that anymore. And I'd rather just put all my eggs into this basket and try and ride this train all the way to where it goes.
Sure.
But again, I'm going to emphasize this is super important. All that failure has made you an amazing person today. So let's call it something else. Building blocks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hercules.
Y'all gonna make me blush. Y'all gonna make me blush too.
That testimony needs to be heard.
And I love it because I mean it is very rock bottom. Like I mean, and just to rise from the ashes.
Well, and it's crazy. There's people with 10 times worse stories than I got.
Right. Well, we could always. There's always the story.
I know. And it's not like I'm not trying to even be like humble or anything with that.
Right.
It's just there's parts of the world, parts of the city right now where like this disease is winning. Addiction is winning.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And it is destroying people's lives at a clip that is staggering. So,
right.
I mean, I'm 39, and I've managed to find a way out twice now.
Right.
I know folks in their 50s and 60s that have been riding this for 40, 50 years and never found it,
Right. But then, on the other hand, there's also people with success, like long-term sobriety.
A lot of times those folks are very stubborn and don't want to ask for help.
Right.
It's it's tough.
They don't have any courage. They haven't found it
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
Right, and then I guess as far as me, what was the question again? I got hypnotized by Nolen.
Where's your courage coming from?
Well, I mean, definitely prayer, God, which is my higher power of choosing. Mm-hmm. My higher power of understanding.
You love the higher power.
I know. I just always like to be PC.
Is that what it is? Is that PC?
Yeah. Well, I try to be.
There you go.
But I would say that's a huge factor of it. I get a lot of courage from the community and surrounding myself with those, other like-minded people.
Yeah.
And then just that not wanting to go back to that place.
Yeah.
Because that was a horrible place, man.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be there again, so. Yeah, that's motivation enough for me. I'm like,
yeah, I can tell.
Let's work one up here.
No, I can tell.
But
I get that.
Horrible place.
I get that. I know where you're coming from.
Should we have a group hug now?
No, we'll
not
be
yet.
okay.
Not yet.
Hey, well,
there's a pandemic,
right? Yeah, that's right. Hey, well, I want to go ahead and get in where they can reach you again.
Okay, I'm at in Sherman, Texas, at 140 West Lamberth, Suite C. It's 903-868-0808. And primarymedicineofnorthtexas.com.
Okay, cool. And then also, I just wanted to point out that we actually have Dr. Robert. Any Beatles fans out there? We have Dr. Robert on the show because when I heard Dr. Robert, I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Immediately the tune starts going off in your head.
Exactly.
I am not Dr. Robert.
He is not that Dr. Robert.
No.
But so I guess it was that. Oh yeah, and then of course anybody you want to shout out to.
Dusty Burrows, of course.
Okay,
Dr.
DB,
Susie
we
Hale.
love you, kid.
Betty Towler at TCC in Sherman, Texas. Amanda Boyle and Dakota Breach at my office, my 2 new nurse practitioners who are super excited about helping you with Suboxone and your opiate addiction.
Nice.
Sweet.
None of us get here alone.
Right. And then you were also saying that you're the practicing physician at which clinic was it?
Well, primary medicine. I'm the director at TCC, Texoma Community Counseling, and I'm at the director at The Haven at Wilson Jones Hospital.
Okay.
And then also another alternative is Summer Sky if you're out in Stephenville way.
Shout out to the sponsor. Super grateful
to
sponsoring the show, and then also to helping save my life, and then Kelly's as well.
Me too. Yeah.
But Summer Sky, Stephenville, Texas. That's www.summersky.us.
Right. And just as a segue in, we are going to have next week on the show, we're going to have Jackie Bibby. And he is actually friends with the director out at Summer Sky.
Yeah.
And he is a character, holds the world's record for most rattlesnakes in a bathtub.
Exactly. There's some talk of me sitting next to a man holding a rattlesnake.
He might be coaxed into bringing a critter next week, so that'll be fun. Then we also have C. You're shaking your head.
I'm lucky to still have my arms and legs after what I've done to them. I'm not trying to lose them to a rattlesnake.
Well, he actually hold on. He actually has a limb missing.
Yeah,
from a rattlesnake.
I know what they do.
So wow. And then we have CG Kid, which he's a local guy, and he just has a YouTube channel with a lot of subscribers out there. He's got his own interesting story, and he basically does videos like Heroine, what's it like? And he's just very to the point. And, hey, people type in Heroine, what's it like?
People want to know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'd rather them watch a YouTube video than try it out.
Exactly. And, just like today, we're putting in the title, Suboxone, versus Heroine. So, and hopefully people got some or gather some knowledge out of this episode, as well as let's see, who do we have coming? Oh, and then Rick from Summer Sky.
Yeah, Rick's cool.
We're gonna talk about fitness and getting swolt.
Rick is definitely swolt.
Yeah, and in recovery.
He's doing all right for himself. He's been putting in the work for some years now.
It's not a bad addiction. Working out.
Exactly.
It's not a bad addiction.
Exactly.
No, it's a lot of people get sober pushing that, physical exercise, getting those dopamines going that way.
Absolutely.
Rick's cool. I can't wait to have him on. It'd be good to talk to him.
Right. And then if you get a chance, obviously follow us on the YouTube channel, This Pink Cloud, thispinkcloud.com. Give us a like, give us a follow. We're out there spreading the word, and just basically I wanted to do this show because there was a lot of stuff when I was in my addiction that I didn't know. I had no idea that all this sober community existed, that Suboxone and fentanyl and all of this stuff is a big deal and affects millions of people. And I'm just trying to be a little beacon and just with my pink cloud pen, and just educate people and let them know the options that are out there. To that they're not alone and they're not suffering. They don't have to be alone.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The help is out there. There are there are a lot of ways to get help. And we know of quite a few of them. So if you need some, reach out to us. We're more than happy to pass on what we know.
Anybody,
Hook you up with somebody.
if you have a personal story and you want to talk about it, feel free to reach out. And I would love to, talk to you about your story. I mean, I do that all the time. And I kind of help people sometimes, I think. I mean, every once in a while, every once in a while, I actually make sense.
It has been known to happen.
Right. But other than that, I think, do you have anything else?
No.
I mean, obviously, we want to thank the esteemed Dr. Robert.
I like how your voice always gets
Hernandez.
lowered. No, I mean,
Awesome.
I said it earlier, but I'll say it again. Anyone that's out there trying to help alcoholics, drug addicts, I have a lot of respect for. We need all the help we can get. We need advocates, and I appreciate the work that you do. And I guarantee I'm not the only one. No. I'm sure you know quite a few of your patients and stuff that are walking around with a relative amount of happiness because of some of the work you put in. So thanks for coming on. Thanks for what you do.
Thanks for having me.
And also, I'm going to go ahead and introduce him as our in-house doctor now for the show. So if we ever have a controversy and we'll go, oh, well, let's get Dr. Robert on the horn.
Yeah, you'll be our WebMD.
Exactly. Yeah. The WebMD.
I'm happy to do it.
Yeah.
Call anytime.
Great. Yeah. Well, anyway, I guess, stay tuned. And, we got a bunch of cool shows coming up. If you want to play us out here with a little headache music.
It's not so bad. I like to give you a head, but it's not so bad.
Anyway, the tagline now, Nolan. Remember, there is no magic pill for sobriety, because if there was, we would all take too many.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming on.
That was cool.
That was fun.
Cool.
Yeah, you like a whole tagline?
I know.
You just rocketed in my